Where Howard ensured we were rock solid with the USA, Albanese has reduced our relationship with Donald Trump and America to a pathetic stand-up late-night comedy joke. Where John Howard ensured we maintained healthy relationships with Indonesia, our friend, Anthony Albanese, and his woeful Foreign Minister Penny Wong threw our other friend, Israel, under a bus. Where John Howard was unequivocal in separating right from wrong, good from evil, with 100% moral clarity, Albanese and Wong have repeatedly pointed the finger of blame at Israel, denigrating Israel, blaming and hectoring Israel, and in doing so giving succor and encouragement to the vile anti-Semites crawling in the woodwork. Where Howard did his utmost to keep community and sectarian issues in check, Albanese did the complete opposite, sneering at one side and refusing to condemn the disgraceful behaviour of the other. To round it all off, smack bang in the middle of an extremely delicate peace process, equivalent to dismantling a ticking time bomb, Albanese and Wong and their lefty mates decided to stumble all over the world stage, flaunting their undergraduate neo-Marxist credentials by recognising a Palestinian state that does not and is unlikely in the foreseeable future to exist. The best one can say about this idiotic foolishness from Penny Wong, Anthony Albanese, Starmer, Macron and Carney was that it was totally irrelevant to the main game. The worst you can say is it may well have cost lives and prolonged the suffering of all involved in the Gaza conflict, including the hostages. Here's what Marco Rubio, one of the main architects of the peace agreement, had to say about Wong, Albo, Starmers and Macron at the time they announced their idiotic recognition plan.
Have you noticed that the talks with Hamas fell apart on the day Macron made the unilateral decision that he's going to recognize a Palestinian state? And then you have other people come forward, other countries say, well, if there's not a ceasefire by September, we're going to recognize a Palestinian state. Well, if I'm Hamas, I basically conclude, let's not do a ceasefire, because we can be rewarded and we can claim it as a victory. So those messages, while largely symbolic in their minds, actually have made it harder to get peace and harder to achieve a deal with Hamas. They feel emboldened.
The absolute grotesque absurdity of Anthony Albanese and Penny Wong now claiming some kind of credit for involvement in the peace process is as preposterous and insulting as it is comical. Penny Wong told Sky on Friday that she was part of the momentum to peace.
How do we build momentum? The coalition has been out of step with the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia and the many countries which sought to recognise to help provide that momentum. What we've seen from the coalition is negativity, a desire to have a political division when really we should be speaking with one voice.
What absolute garbage and gaslighting. No, Penny Wong, you had nothing to do with it. You, in particular, were an embarrassing brake on the Trump momentum, as I have no doubt Donald Trump is fully aware. Josh Frydenberg correctly savaged Penny Wong yesterday, saying it was her taking credit was akin to taking a victory lap over someone else's finish line. I'd go further and say that Penny Wong trying to take credit for Trump's peace plan is like Henry VIII taking credit for the feminist movement. But I digress. The bottom line is that the Bali bombing and its aftermath required expert handling. There was grief and sadness, but no outpouring of hatred towards Indonesians or indeed Muslims in general. October 7th and its aftermath also required expert leadership. Instead, we got the trite, snide, supercilious and ignorant leadership of Albo's university leftists drunk on their own power. And the result? Australia is now a byword for anti-Semitism around the world. Vile marches of blatant Jew hatred have been permitted to defile our most precious locations. Morons and useful idiots have been encouraged to jump on the bandwagon of blaming and hating the Jews. Islamist supremacists now take to the streets with increasing self-confidence, gleefully celebrating the rapes, murders and beheadings of Jews. All around the West, governments and populations are increasingly recognizing that immigration without assimilation is a recipe for disaster. Unfortunately, there are strong strains within radical Islam that are anathema to our Western way of life, and vice versa. To compound the problem, I would argue that it is very difficult to truly vet deeply held beliefs, religious or otherwise, unless you are specifically looking for them. In my opinion, bringing in many thousands of migrants from, for example, Gaza, is reckless beyond belief. And don't get me started on ISIS brides. Yesterday we learned that the man accused of going on a murderous rampage and killing 2 Jews in Manchester attended and praised the imam at a mosque where Jews were described from the pulpit as treacherous. The onus is now on Australia's Muslim community leaders to tone down and condemn the extremists in their midst. Hiding behind our beloved free speech whilst spouting vile Jew hatred is unacceptable. From the river to the sea is a call for bloodshed and genocide. Globalise the Intifada is a call for stabbings and urban terror on these shores. Zionists are terrorists is a call to dehumanise Jews, every bit as bad as the worst phrases in Mein Kampf. The malevolent genie of Jew hatred has been unleashed onto Australian streets, into our schools and universities, and it will take an almighty effort to put the cork back in the bottle. It will require leadership, moral clarity, and bravery. Albanese and Wong and Burke have proven time and time again that they are not only incapable of such quality leadership, they wouldn't even know where to begin.